Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're jumping into something pretty interesting coming out of Indonesia. It's a recent decision by their constitutional court, the MK, about an election in Kutai Kartanegara.
Exactly. It's a fascinating case where the MK actually disqualified a candidate, Edi Demancia, after the election happened in order to revote.
Wow. So our mission today is to really unpack why this happened, right? What was the reasoning?
Precisely. We want to understand the why behind the disqualification and, what it means. We're working primarily from the MK's own press release here.
Okay, so let's set the scene. Who brought this case forward?
The petition came from the candidate pair number 03. That was Dendi Suryadi and Alif Turyadi.
And the ruling, was it a straight win for them?
Not entirely. The MK only partially granted their petition, but the parts they did grant were significant.
Like what? What were the main points?
Well, two big things. First, disqualifying Edi Demancia, who was running for regent, sort of like the governor for that regency. And second, they annulled the local election commission's decree.
The KPU decree, the one that confirmed the original results.
That's the one. KP Cup, Kutai Kartanegara decree number 189-32024, canceled.
And this disqualification, it came with some specific instructions for the political parties involved, didn't it?
It did, yeah, really specific. They ordered the parties that backed Edi Demancia to find a replacement candidate.
Okay, find a new person, but,
and this is interesting, his running mate, Randy Solahin, had to stay on the ticket.
So replace the main candidate, but keep the running mate.
Exactly, and they had to keep the original candidate number 2, which was number 1.
What's the legal underpinning for all this? Why disqualify him?
So the MK pointed to a specific law, Article 7, Paragraph 2 of Law Number 10 of 2016. It's the law covering regional elections.
And Article 7 covers term limits.
Precisely. It's about how many terms someone can serve. Standard practice in many democracies to prevent people holding power too long.
Okay, term limits. So the whole case must have turned on how they counted Edi Demancia's previous time in office.
Yeah.
Like his time as vice regent and acting regent.
That's exactly it. And this is where some previous MK rulings become really important.
Precedent. Which rulings?
They reference two main ones, Putusan Nomor 2PU Excise 2023 and Nomor 129 PU Exekai 2024.
And what did those earlier decisions establish?
They establish a key principle. Serving more than half of a term counts as a full term towards the limit.
Even if it's an acting role? Not just as the main definitive leader.
Correct. Whether definitive or acting, if it's over half the term duration, it counts. And crucially, the clock starts from the date of the governor's decree appointing them.
Not the inauguration.
No, not the inauguration. The decree date. That's the trigger.
Okay, so let's apply that. Edi Demancia's first stint.
Yeah.
When did that start, according to the decree?
The governor of East Kalimantan's decree was dated October 10th, 2017. That appointed him vice regent and acting regent.
And that period ran until?
Until February 25, 2021.
So doing the math, October 2017 to February 2021.
That totals 3 years, 4 months, and 15 days.
Right. Which is definitely more than half of a standard 5-year term, so longer than 2.5 years.
Exactly. So based on their own precedent, the MK's conclusion was pretty straightforward.
They decided he'd already served one full term, essentially.
Yes. And since the law limits regional heads to 2 terms, running again in 2024 would have been his 3rd term, making him ineligible.
Which explains the disqualification.
Yeah.
And the consequence then is this revote, the PSU.
Correct. Pemogitan Suara Ulang, PSU. The MK ordered the local KPU in Kutai Kartanegara to conduct it.
How soon?
They have 60 days from the date of the ruling to get it done.
Are there conditions for this revote?
Yes, a couple of key ones. Obviously, Edi Demancia can't be on the ballot.
Because he's disqualified.
Right. And they have to use the same voter list from the original election back on November 27, 2024. The DPT, Daftar Pemilihan Pindahan, and Tambahan lists.
So, same voters, different candidate lineup for number 1. And does the KPU need to report the new results back to the Constitutional Court?
Interestingly, no. The MK ruling stated the results of the revote don't need to be reported back to them. It's more like, here's the ruling, now go implement it.
So what's the MK's bigger picture reasoning here? Why go through all this, ordering a revote?
Well, according to their press release, it's fundamentally about safeguarding the election itself. They talked about upholding legitimacy, fairness, democracy, and the integrity of the results.
Making sure the rules, like eligibility rules, are followed, even if it's after the fact.
Exactly. It's about ensuring the whole process is sound, legally speaking.
Okay, so let's summarize the key takeaway here. A candidate won but got disqualified after the election because of term limits. And the crucial part is how those limits are counted.
Right. It's not just full inaugurated term. Serving more than half a term, even partly as an acting official, counts as one full term based on these MK interpretations.
And that specific interpretation led directly to this revote, needing a replacement candidate.
Yeah. And thinking about the bigger picture, this ruling really highlights how influential the Constitutional Court is in shaping election rules and outcomes in Indonesia.
It sets a clear precedent for how term limits involving partial or acting roles will be calculated going forward, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It emphasizes that the actual time served, starting from that official decree, is what matters most for the term limit calculation.
Which really makes you wonder then, how might this very specific way of calculating eligibility affect future candidates? People planning their political careers in regional elections.
That's a great question. And how might political parties adjust their nomination strategies now, knowing this clear interpretation from the MK? It definitely gives everyone something to think about regarding the rules of the game.
Indeed. Lots to consider about the long-term impact. Thanks for breaking that down with us today.